Hello Stampers, this is Susan Malloy of Silver Lady Stamping, and I am also an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Today I want to show you how to make this really cute birthday card using the GSP scraps that I know you have hanging around and that you've been hoarding. So and if you're anything like me, you have an envelope or a folder that you just tossed your pieces of designer series paper, your strips of designer series paper that from other projects, and you set them aside with all intention of being able to use them for another project. I mean, let's face it, the designer series papers are so pretty, you don't want to throw them away. But then they end up sitting there and languishing, and we don't have projects that we use them on. So they just sit there. So I'm going to show you how to make this card. Super easy, and you can use it for, this technique to make a whole bunch of this. This came together really, really quickly. So I'm going to turn the camera down and then I'll show you what I did to put the card together. So I pulled out some of my strips of GSP that I thought would be good for a birthday card. Now, if you want to make a different kind of a card, like for Christmas or a fall card, you'd want to obviously pull out DSP that has different coloring on it. But I just pulled out a bunch of strips and that I had sitting around and that I thought would be great for a birthday card. So what I did is I cut them into strips, because some of them were long and some of them were kind of chunky pieces. So for this card, what I did is I cut them to about 3 1/4, or you can actually cut them to about 4 inches. It doesn't matter, because the way I did this, when I laid it onto the white cardstock, you can hang it off the edge, and then when you're done, you just trim it off. And then I laid them kind of an irregular pattern. I didn't want them all to be even all the way across. So generally speaking, the width, so the length of it, you can do any length you want, but I wouldn't probably do it more than 4 inches, because then it's going to be kind of going to the top. You want to leave a little bit of space, white space at the top for your sentiment. So for the length, I cut mine, like I said, 3 1/4, 3 1/2, and then for the width, I cut them at about 1/4 of an inch. Now, some pieces are skinnier, so I'm not sure I'm going to use those today, but you could certainly do that. So the card dimensions are our standard card base, right? Just a standard card base that you're going to, it's going to be, your 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, and then you're going to score it at 4 1/4. And then because this card, let me just go back a second. This card, the first layer, I used Poppy Parade, which I thought was super pretty. And then I used Poppy Parade ink for the sentiment. And then I wanted to just use a white top layer because the DSP is so colorful. I thought it really needed to stand out. So I'm using a white card top layer. So the Poppy Parade, you would cut it at 5 1/4 by 4, and then your top layer, you would cut it 1/4 of an inch smaller, so you'll cut it at 5 by 3 3/4. So for the card we're going to make today, though, I decided not everybody likes pink or red, so I'm using just jade, and I thought that could be a nice change. And the DSP strips that I have would go with the just jade just as well. Excuse me. All right, so now what we're going to do, I'm going to set this card aside. Now what we'll do, I'm just going to take the top layer and set the rest of the card aside. So now what we have to do is kind of go through the pieces and decide like what pieces we want to put on this. So, and you know, here's another thing I suggest. As you're putting your card together. Let me see. Oh, I'm flipping them over. No, I don't like the black. This could be good. One of the things that I would recommend is leave a little bit of white space in between the candles, because then you don't want to bump them up. That's not the look we're going for. You want to just do these, give them a little bit of white space. Now I'm just going to lay these on top. Already looked at that one. I don't like the black and white, and I don't like the dots. So I am going to, now these hearts don't go up and down like the one that I had on this card, but you know what? I don't care. That's going to be just fine. Do it sideways, doesn't matter. So even if you're, even if the design on your paper doesn't go necessarily in the, as you might think, the logical orientation of that design, doesn't matter. I don't think it matters for this card. It's just a fun card. Okay, so and the bottoms and the tops don't necessarily have to line up either. Now on this one, like I said, I had them hanging off, and then I trimmed it. But on this one, oh, you know what? I think I may have to do that here because I'm not leaving enough. I'm not taking my own advice, am I? I'm gonna leave enough room for the sentiment, don't I? So let me hang it off. Let me push this up. Let me hang them off a little bit. A little up and down action. All right. Ooh, maybe down a little bit more, because the one thing I'm forgetting as I'm doing this is I gotta leave room for the candles. Ooh, I'll show you how to make the candle flames. Those are like pretty remarkable. Easy peasy to make, if you can believe it. Because we don't have a stamp set that has candle flames. I'm probably fussing with this a little bit more than I need to, but you know how it is when you start doing this stuff and the next thing you know, you're like lost in it. Yeah, well, that's what I'm doing. Okay, I think maybe one more. You know what, this almost looks like, oh, I haven't used this one yet. I like it. Let me move these over. Move these. Okay, so now I know kind of the placement that I want. I'm gonna have to move these over a little bit more. All right, so now you get to decide what adhesive you want to use, but I like using the liquid glue. Use this one. That one is kind of used up. Oop. All right. Let's see. And I'm going to start layering them. Oh, this is my one that I had yesterday. For some reason, the nozzle is super clogged. All right, and this one has glue gunk on top of it. All right, there we go. That's better. All right. I'm gonna kind of put a little white edge to the left of it. Okay. And then just start layering it. Again, don't forget, put a little white space in between them. This is just such a great technique to, you know, just to use up some of your pieces that you really, really love and make a really interesting birthday card. which I think is appropriate for either, you know, a woman or a man, even kids. This would make a super cute kid's birthday card, because you know how much kids love color. Yeah. Am I gluing this to my paper? I am. Guess I have to be more mindful of not gluing the strips to the paper underneath. That's how it is sometimes, right? Okay. This one doesn't have to be off the paper. Okay. And then we have room for one more. Okay. Okay. Kind of nice, right? Okay, so now I'm just going to flip it over, take my scissors, and just trim off the excess. And then if you're like me and then you get glue on your scissors sometimes and you're not sure how to get them off, you know that product Goo Gone? You can get little bottles of it. You don't have to get giant ones, but that Goo Gone stuff, just put it on a little piece of paper towel or whatever, and then wipe your scissors off with it, and it takes it off beautifully. Okay, that's pretty nice, right? Nice. All right, so now I'm going to show you how to make the candle flames, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have to make 6 candle flames. So all I did to make it easy, now you could use white and then color it in with yellow, and then also maybe some light pumpkin pie for the center of the flame. I didn't use that. I just did the Daffodil Delight cardstock. But like I said, you can just use white and then color it in. If you don't happen to have Daffodil Delight, then just use the white and then color it in with some Daffodil Delight. Okay, so let me just move some of this aside. Here's what we're gonna just cut these into like little teardrops. So you want to cut the end of it, and you're gonna go like around and then cut it into like a teardrop shape. That might be a little big. And then I'm going to turn it over in the other direction because I found it was easier for me to do that. Okay, and I screwed that up. So you know what? Let me go back and do it again. You're going to go around and do a teardrop shape. Then turn it over and do the teardrop shape again on the other side. That just happens to be how I found it to be easier. And there it is, right? There's your teardrop shape. And now we can mount it onto our card. So I'm just going to do, so I need to do 5 more. There's 2. Let me see if I can get this to, yeah, be a little bit closer. Hopefully that's not going to be too close. I'm telling you, after a while of collecting your DSP strips, you're like, oh my gosh, at some point in time you have to use them because they're just so pretty to not use. And after I do this one, I'll show you another one that I made that had a Christmas theme. That's 4. Snip that. And that's 5. Just one more. So they're almost like, so you could use this technique for raindrops or candle flames like I'm using here. All right, so what you can just put a little bit of glue on each one, or another thing you can do is just take each one and ooh, hard to hold on to, and then put a little glue dot on the back of it. So if you have glue dots, that's a super easy way to get it onto the card. There we go. I love glue dots. They're not messy. Now, they don't always appropriate for every project, but boy, something like this, when you know, you don't want to have a lot of glue around making, I mean, I can make a serious mess when it comes to liquid glue, even though I like it. You know, when you put too much and then it oozes out the sides, yeah. I hate that, and I do it. Okay. So this is kind of an easy peasy way of getting the flames on there and not making a mess. Okay. And don't worry about the fact that your flames aren't perfect. I mean, mine are not perfect. It doesn't really matter. Okay, here goes the last one. And you can see mine are definitely not perfect. Now I also have this light pumpkin pie. Ooh, got a little piece of paper stuck to my finger. The light pumpkin pie. And so if you wanted to, you could color in a little bit of orange, you know, as the center of the flame. If you didn't want to leave it just yellow. Now I tried it with dark pumpkin pie and ooh, it was a little too dark. So I'm using the light pumpkin pie. There. So that looks kind of nice. Super, super easy, right? Super easy. All right, and I still have, I didn't leave as much white space at the top as I did with this one, but that's okay. I think we still have more than enough room for the sentiment, hopefully. So I'm going to use the Best Year stamp set. It's in the annual catalog on page 103. And I'm going to use the Happy Birthday to You sentiment. All right, so happy birthday to you. And there we go. And I'm going to use the Just Jade stamp pad. Okay. Oh yeah, there's enough room, I think. Maybe I'll do it off to the side a little bit. Oh yeah, that came out okay. See, didn't have to be in the middle. I was afraid that if I put it in the middle, it might bump up against that candle. So I thought, no. All right, me get my glue again, and I'm going to adhere it to my Just Jade layer. Oh yeah, this is the one that's dead. Gotta toss that. Okay, I think I used probably more glue than I needed. Okay. All right, I'm going to turn it over and give it a little back rub. Make sure it's nice and adhered down. Okay, and now we'll put it onto the card base. I'm not using any ribbon. I'm not using any gem dots. I'm just using the DSP and the sentiment from the card, from the stamp set. Okay, again, I'm going to turn it over and just give it a little back rub. The reason I do that, I mean, I want to definitely make sure it's adhered on, but, you know, I'm always afraid I have, like, you know, glue on my fingers or something, and if I keep rubbing the front of it, next thing you know, I've got the glue on top. There it is. There's the card. Ooh, let me get it in the frame. Wasn't that an easy card to make? And you end up, and I mean, I still have, like, you know, about a bajillion, you know, DSP strips hanging around. So I'm going to have to, but you know what? There's always a birthday coming around that you need to make a card for. So here's the original one. This one with the Poppy Parade, and this one with Just Jade. Isn't it really cool? I love that. So let me show you now the one that I did that had the Christmas theme. So I had all of these, you know, from the holiday catalog, the DSP from the holiday catalog, and I've been using the papers, and, you know, I have a lot of strips that, you know, as you're cutting the paper into different sizes, you end up with odd pieces. So I cut these down actually to 1/4 of an inch, and actually maybe in some of them are maybe not even that. And some of them, like this one, is a little uneven, so the top is a little skinnier than the bottom, but it doesn't really matter. So that's how, oh, and that, like that, you can see a little bit of pink showing through. This was from the, I think all of them are from the Christmas Whimsy DSP. So cute. And then the Snowflake Sentiments, the Snowflake Wishes, is from the Merry Snowflakes stamp set. Is it? No, it's not. It is not from that. Okay, I can't remember what it's from. I could have sworn it was, but clearly it's not. And I have the snowflake embellishment, which that's called Wonderful Snowflakes. And that's in the holiday catalog. So all I did was take some Misty Moonlight cardstock. I did not put another layer under it. I just put a white layer on top of it, and then began layering the pieces of the strips, and then just pulled a snowflake out, and I popped it up on a dimensional, so you can't really see too much on it, but it's popped up on a dimensional. The dimensional actually fits perfectly with the shape in the center of the snowflake. And then in the very center is a homemade embellishment, like a gem dot. And I'm gonna show you how to make this. And I I learned this from my upline, France Martin. So I'm not taking credit for that. I'm going to give the full credit to France because she's brilliant. And the way I'm going to do this, and this is the bedazzling, just a strip of that bedazzling paper that, by the way, you can get for free in the Celebration catalog until the end of this month with just a $50 purchase. So you purchase anything in the annual catalog or the holiday catalog, either one, and your purchase is at least $50 before shipping and taxes, you can select something, some products from the Celebration catalog for free. And the bedazzling paper is one of them. So what I'm going to do, and what many of the other demonstrators have done that you might have seen, is you can color the bedazzling paper. And I'm going to get one of my blender brushes, but you can take the bedazzling paper and run it right over the stamp pad. I'm going to do it two ways. So I'm using these blender brushes are available in the annual catalog. They're awesome. And I'm using Pacific Point ink because I found that it's a bright enough color. If I tried using Night of Navy on this paper, and what I found was that it came out looking almost black, and it did not come out looking navy blue at all. And then I tried using Misty Moonlight, and that actually is kind of nice. The Misty Moonlight on this paper actually comes out looking the way you would have expected Night of Navy to look. But the Pacific Point, ends up looking kind of like it's royal blue. I just wanted to show you that. No, that's actually not a good match though, is it? No. So this is a little bit too royal blue for this one. I was thinking it might be a good match. It's not. So I already have some that I stamped with the Misty Moonlight. So you can see the difference. This one is almost like a teal color when you use the Pacific Point. Now this was colored using the Misty Moonlight. And you can see it's kind of, it's a better match for this. Now here's the magic of how you make your own gem dots. Okay, you're going to just get a regular old school paper punch, right? And all you're going to do is just take the paper punch and just start, just punch out some circles, that's all. Now in mine, it goes into a well, so you kind of have to empty the well to get the little dots, right? And then take the little dots and take your glue dots, your strip of glue dots, take your little gem dot and put it, so there you go, and put it, I keep losing it, and put it right over the glue dot, right? And you could actually make a strip of these, which is actually what I did. And then I cut the strip and then put it with my other embellishments. And you could make these any color you want, whatever you're working on. Look at that. Is that brilliant or what? I honestly, like I said, France Martin my upline is the one that I got this tip from, and I just wanted to share that with you so that you would know how to make your own glue dot, your adhesive backed gem dots is what I meant to say. And that's what I used for the center of the snowflake. So if you've got your leftover strips of that Christmas Whimsy Designer Series paper, you could try this technique. Now, I also have some strips to make a card using the Pretty Pumpkins stamp set. So this one I wanted to make using the Soft Succulent cardstock and a bunch of kind of green, sort of soft sage or soft succulent shades for this card. And I'm going to kind of do it. I'm not going to spend a lot of time because I don't want this to go too long. But let's just start putting some strips together. And you already know, just cut your strips whatever length you want. And like I said, I cut these at 1/2 inch. And I am going to, and then I'm going, and then what I did was I cut a couple of these. I cut the decorative pumpkin and this pumpkin using, actually I ended up using, oh yeah, soft succulent. It came out a little darker than I expected, but that's okay. It still goes with the theme. All right. And let's see, what do I want to use? So then really you can just start deciding what goes with what. Again, make sure to leave a little white space. I'm going to put this down a little, because I do want to make sure that I'm leaving enough. You know what? This is not a green theme, but it's a fall theme. Oh wait, you know what? Let me put, no, I have more. I'm going to use this one. I love this paper that has writing, script writing on it, sort of blended in the background. Okay. It's not green, but it is fall themed. Okay. Now we'll do the other side of that same DSP, the script writing. Push this up so you can see the whole thing. There we go. And oh, let's see. This one, maybe. Okay. And then, it's a little jarring, isn't it? Oh, well, I'll just use, this is a skinnier strip, so I'll just, because I need a skinnier strip. Okay. Those colors really go together well. And again, just turning it over and just cutting whatever strips are hanging off the end. I'm going to definitely have to use glue gun after this to cut some of that stuff off. Okay, so there's that. And you know what? There's something. I think I'm going to put these on some dimensionals, just so it's not so flat. And one in the middle. Okay. All right. And it can go off the paper a little bit because remember, this is just the top layer. And it's going to go on to 2 more layers. All right, so for this side, I'm going to glue it to the front. I'm going to put dimensionals on the right-hand side, but not on the but not on the left. At least I don't think so. Yeah, that's how I'm gonna do it. It might be a little weird and too popped up if I did dimensionals on the left as well. Okay. So, yeah, that looks cute. And I'm not coloring them in, I'm just leaving them simple. All right, so now what I want to do is use I'm going to bring in the pretty pumpkin stamp set, and I'm going to say, if friends were pumpkins, I'd pick you. And that's this one down the bottom. Oh, you know what, I'll get a different block. Okay. And I'm going to use the soft, succulent ink pad. Yep, went off the paper a little bit, but that's all right. I'll be giving it to a friend, and my friends won't mind. Now, you could, if you wanted, use some, some ribbon. And, we have this great checked ribbon that matches. You could, in some really nice sheer ribbon. That would look super cute. I'm going to leave mine as it is, because I really like the designer series paper. Oops, my paper's going everywhere, isn't it? I like the designer series paper to do all the talking. Okay, so let's put it on there and see how it all looks. You see how it doesn't matter if your pieces, your die cut pieces, hang over the edge of the white a little bit, because it's going on to the next layers. And then now we're going to put it onto the final layer, the card base. Move this up. All right, and I'm going to give it a little back rub. And there you have it. Is that really cute or what? Super simple. Use up your scraps. There's no need to hoard them. We have plenty of projects that we can do to use those scraps up, and they're just so pretty. And look at how simple a card, no, embellishments. The DSP does all the talking. So I really hope that you like today's tutorial, and that you're going to give it a go and drag out those paper strips and give it a try. So I just want to say thank you for watching today. I really appreciate it. If you like my channel, you can give it a thumbs up, and you can subscribe to my channel, so you can, and then ring the, click on the little bell so that you can be notified when I upload new content. Take a look at my blog, Silver Lady Stamping. I'd appreciate it. So thank you again, and tune in on Wednesday when I have a new video tutorial. Thank you very much. Bye.